kind of like how this intro is going.
Introducing people while we're not actually with the people.
Yeah, I think it's working out well.
Well,
it's also good when we just kind of ensnare them. We just get them talking and we're recording.
I know, yeah. We brought it up before. I mean, basically the issue was while Bo's sitting there setting up the podcast equipment, I'll start talking to whoever our guest is, and we get into this really good conversation. Yeah. It's probably better than any other part of the podcast. And Bo's telling us to shut up and stop talking while he's setting up. So now we're just kind of going right into it and doing the intro later on.
Right. So it seems to be working well. So this week we have Jay Jack from the Academy.
Yeah.
Brazilian Jiu Jitsu instructor, MMA pioneer, and just all-around interesting personality. That's why we had him on. He's not afraid to say what he thinks.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to see Jay's older fights, definitely take a look on YouTube. I'm sure you can find some videos. It's pretty amazing to watch. Keep in mind that he's one of the people that definitely pioneered the sport of mixed martial arts before it was, as big and as known as the UFC today.
He's got an interesting history, and his point of views are some might say pretty extreme, but he's very honest with them. He's right out front with them. We actually in this podcast we cover a lot of different topics, and some things might seem a little offensive, but just keep in mind it's a point of view, and that's kind of what this podcast is all about. Where sometimes we might not necessarily agree with what the person has to say, but we think what they do have to say needs to be heard, and most of the time we do agree with them, though.
Yeah, and this isn't necessarily for people that are only interested in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or mixed martial arts. Jay talks a lot here about philosophy, religion, and then ultimately Jiu-Jitsu and how they all kind of tie in, and it makes for a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, we kind of wanted to use the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as kind of a lens of perception through basically life and what it means to have struggle and what it means to live a skillful life, which we kind of discuss later on in the podcast. But it kind of starts off with we're just kind of talking about some, I think we're talking about coffee or something like that. There's a little banter back and forth. Just a heads up, there is I shouldn't even say some profanity. There's a lot of profanity in this. But it's used in a tasteful way, I think.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're listening to this right now at work or around people under the age
small children.
Yeah, small children.
Or easily offended people.
Yeah, easily offended people. You might want to find some headphones or, just delete us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll get right to it. Once again, this is recorded at the Academy, so if you hear which is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts gym, if you hear some beeps and screams in the background, it's just people training.
Yep.
So,
and please remember to check out the Academy. Check out their website. Yeah. It's based in Portland, Maine. Yep. Excellent school.
The Academy
both train there. Bo's an instructor there.
Yep.
Amazing school, and we highly recommend it if you're considering checking out mixed martial arts, particularly Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. So here it is. Podcast with a mixed martial arts fighter, instructor of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and philosopher Jay Jack.
Oh yeah, caffeine. It's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and then I get into this dude, I'm dependent on a chemical, and that fucking makes me mad. And then I quit, and then I spend 3, 4, 5 months off of it, and then have some pre-workout. So I'll read some article, invariably. I'll read some article that's this much milligrams of caffeine prior to a workout is good, whatever, and it helps with lipid metabolism. And you're like, well, that sounds like good. So it sounds all good. I'll have, before a workout, have a cup of coffee. And then 3 weeks later, I'm drinking pots and pots a day. So I do that every 6 months. I have this cycle of
You try to wean off of it.
I do. I'll wean off of it, and I'll be off of it for a little while, and then it'll be fine. And then I'll have I'll do some purposeful, before long runs or before, lifting, or if I get up before fucking 6, or there's some stipulative kind of fucking thing, and then something I have no you look, it's like drifting. If you swim in the ocean and you're fucking around and then you look up and you're like, holy shit, you realize how far down you've gone. Yeah. It's like that. I have a cup of coffee if I get up before sunlight. And then 3 weeks later, you're just Starbucks. And somebody's like, didn't you just stop drinking coffee? Holy shit. It's 4 in the afternoon. What the fuck, dude? Yeah. Where am I? How'd that happen?
Right. You ever tried drinking, that's pretty loud on me.
No, it's not.
No.
You actually should talk closer.
Sounds loud. really high quality coffee, like single estate, single origin. You ever read like the Bulletproof Exec?
I've heard some of their stuff, but
I was actually starting to jot down some notes about this stuff, maybe doing an article on it, but it seems to make a difference for me because I'm super sensitive to caffeine.
Oh, fuck you.
But if I drink...
He is.
Super sensitive.
No, I really
He's super sensitive to everybody.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't help
It's
it.
like
I drink a cup of coffee and I'm up all fucking night.
It's like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it, Aaron will lose a full night's sleep.
Dude, I get so irritable. People that are sensitive to caffeine irritate me as much as people that are like, I just can't stop losing weight.
Well, I can't
It's so hard for me to get enough calories. I have to eat stuffers just to maintain my physique.
Stuffers.
You're like, fuck you.
Yeah, I guess I don't have very many issues with stuff like that. So I don't really know where you guys are coming from. So
Well,
It's just an acknowledgement.
what a dick move you two guys are, dude. I'm sensitive to caffeine. I don't have any problems.
Yeah, I know.
well, no, I mean,
It's hard to empathize because my perfection is so astute. It's difficult to deal with.
I obviously have my own problems, but
You just summed up Bo very nicely there.
That's good, right?
Oh, that was good. But anyway, drinking more high-quality caffeine, acknowledging that I'm very sensitive to many
I like how you said that.
Like the sunset makes me cry. You know, I'm sensitive.
I'm sensitive as fuck, dude. What are you talking about?
But anyway, coffee.
That's why I learned how to fucking kill people.
Right.
Because then you can be sensitive.
And then you can shit on other sensitive people like me.
No, it's not shitting on people. Like I'm not shitting on your emotional sensitivity. I'm shitting on the fact that you're sensitive to caffeine. Because that's just cupcake.
But he's sensitive to every
Crying
word
at
you
sunsets is cool. That's awesome. That's badass. Sensitive to caffeine is fucking retarded.
I'm pretty much stoic the whole time.
Yeah.
Stoic is good.
Speaking of stoic, you're into stoic philosophy to a degree, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's of all the organized schools of thought out there. I think the three, I guess, that speak to me the most directly are Stoicism and two schools of Buddhism, Chan Buddhism and Zen Buddhism, but they're both the same thing. Like that's Zen Buddhism came from Chan Buddhism, so whatever. But like, other than Zen Buddhism, that's the only non-Oriental school of thought that's ever been like, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. Everything else has just been like,
It's too much, right?
it's just stupid. It's people just suck. They need this, like, people are scared and need justification for things, so they need to over-explain. It's like when you're talking to a child, they need it explained because they're scared.
Right.
You know what I mean? They go like, why does that happen? And you go, because this. And they can't go, okay, because they have to go like, but I don't know why. So you have to tell them like this list of 45,000 reasons. So they'll go, oh, okay.
Right.
It's because they're scared. Do you know what I mean? So like the more explicative something needs to be, you can assume that the person that needs it to be that is very fearful. You know what I mean? So like all these religions have like uber rules. There's like 8 million fucking rules and explanations and scrolls and fucking there's nothing. They don't leave anything unexplained.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you go, why is the leaf brown? Well, the leaf is brown because one time this guy came out of the sun and went across the sky and like there's no like, I don't know. We don't have an explanation for that. They don't have that.
Right.
Because they have to because everybody's a fucking child. Do you know what I mean? So somebody can't go like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They got to go, why, mom? Why, mommy? Why? And that's what people do to priests and fucking whoever else, you know, whatever the fuck you call people in other religions. So you got childlike people going, why at every question. So they have to come up with 8 million explanations.
And science is inadequate in most situations. One, it's either too technical or too difficult to understand.
Science doesn't give a blankie to people.
Right.
And that's the problem. Science is two things. Science is explicative after the fact. Everything in the future is a hypothesis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can do an experiment on something that has already happened, and science is extremely useful because it can tell you exactly why it took place. But you can't, for any amount of certainty, say what will happen.
Exactly.
So that doesn't help people that need a blankie because it's like you can't go tell me exactly what's going to happen. I'm scared. Like I'm really scared. Tell me what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if you're a parent and you have a fucking 2-year-old and they go, Mommy, is the sun going to come out tomorrow? You can't go. Well, Jesus, that depends on a lot of different factors.
He said Jesus, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because, well, that's what my imaginary child is named. You see. So, you know what I mean? Like, you can't go like, well, son, that really depends.
Yeah.
It depends because, you know, if fucking the solar flares and you can't explain that, they'll freak out. So you got to go, well, of course it is. You know what I mean? So, like, science doesn't give certainty to future events, so that cuts fucking 2/3 of the population out because they need to feel certain about the outcome or they can't step forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then that ruins half of it for most people. And then they have this, like, you know, if they do question a little bit, they're like, okay, that sounds like a good theory. I enjoy this place that you talk about heaven, and I don't want to go to this place hell, okay. But wait a minute, what about this rule? And they start looking for loopholes. You have to shore up those loopholes or they won't buy it.
So it's almost like science is the embracing, well, I guess tying in philosophy because we brought it up. Philosophy is embracing uncertainty, and religion is creating certainty as its domain.
Well, religion has to be certain or it won't sell.
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it won't sell. You know what I mean? And that's the function of religion. You know what I mean? Like there's two types of religions. There's two types of religions. There's explicative religions and then there's social control religions. And every religion started as an explicative religion and then turned into a social control religion. You know? Yeah. So there's the early religions are these, you know, man, that great big ball in the sun, I don't understand it. And so they make shit up because they like, you feel like you need to have some kind of, what is that? I wonder what that is. Look at children, like fucking simple-minded people, and kids have a lot in common. Kids, you know, they just make shit up. Oh, I know why the sun comes out. The sun comes out because of a dragon, and they'll make up some bullshit. Right. You know what I mean? And like, so they're simple-minded. So like, you get these people, you know, in simple cultures that explain the world around them as best they can. They're like, well, I don't know why the crops keep coming out, but I'm going to say it's because the spirit pushed them out from the dirt.
Right.
And so they make it up, and they can't think of anything better, so they make it up, and everybody goes, yeah, that makes sense. And then they feel like they understand, and that's not this like, holy shit, what's happening? So then they feel like they understand it so that it becomes a religion. And it's a religion of explanation. Mm-hmm. At some point, somebody goes, hey, wait a minute. If I use this explanation to my advantage, then I can figure. So if they go, well, look, if the spirits push the crops out, the spirits are going to be really pissed if you don't give me your daughter. And that's really unfortunate because I don't want to fuck her, but I have to for the crops, you see.
Yeah.
And then everybody in the village starts giving them virgins or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but or look, you know, don't do this. And they, why? Well, because the crop spirits are going to get really upset. And then they go, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. And then, you know what I mean? But it turns into a social control thing. Mm-hmm. So you can't have buy-in on social control religions if there's a hole. Because if somebody can make you go, fuck, that's a good question, I don't know, dude. Then they'll go, well, if you don't know, then you don't have answers. And if you don't have answers, why am I doing this? Because you got to pay. Like social control religions, you pay, you fast, you pray, you go to church, you do these. There's all these like things that you got to do, and they're expensive. You know, they limit you and they affect your choices. So it's like an economics thing. You're like, if I'm not certain of the payoff, I'm not paying for this. Mm-hmm. So they have to be certain they're going to get the payoff. So then they go, oh, they have to explain everything. You ask them a question, nobody will go, fuck, I don't know. Nobody will do that. Like if they're in, like, you know, if they're into a religion that's like used for social control, they won't do that. Will find an explanation. The Pope will come out with a fucking thing. We've changed our views. And nobody's like, what the fuck do you mean you changed your views? You know what I mean? They'll just go, cool, now I have a new explanation. All I need is to make sure there's no holes so I can keep making the payments. That's it. You know? Mm. So religion is that philosophy. A lot of it falls into two camps. People say philosophy, the love of fucking knowledge, and it's not necessarily true. They're doing the same thing. They just want an explanation. So there's philosophies of explanation, and then there's philosophies of social control. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happens. You know what I mean? Because like...
Well, it becomes religion to a degree.
That's what happens.
So you think...
I mean, it doesn't become religion as in... Religion tends to be defined as worship of a... People have a hard time calling Buddhism... Well, not Buddhism. People have a hard time calling like Zen Buddhism or religion because they're like, well, there's no figure that we worship.
Or a deity.
You know what I mean? So like religion tends to be defined as this belief in a particular fucking whatever being or thing or whatever. So people that don't have that, there's like, nature religions and Zen Buddhism and all these things that kind of fall on the edge. Some people will go, well, it's a philosophical thing. It's a philosophy. It's not a religion. Or it's a spirituality. It's not a religion. But they're doing the same thing. Like they explain it. They explain something with it. Or they control something with it. That's it.
I think they came out with some statistic. You can ask your question in a second where they said that. I always do this to Aaron.
You are allowed to ask your question.
I'll lose it. I bet you his question will start a whole new train of thought.
Sure.
I'm just closing this one out. No. There was a study that came out, and once again, I'm just going off the top of my head, where they said religion as we know it will be gone by like 2024. So I wonder if it's just
stupidest thing.
It's probably just transferring into a philosophy. The way that I would consider Buddhism as a philosophy, not a religion. It's just reassigning social control in the domain of philosophy, which is not what it's supposed to be.
Well, this is the deal. Okay. Religion becomes religion when you accept explanations, right? Philosophy, literally the word means love of knowledge. Yeah. If someone can tell you something and make you stop seeking, you're no longer in love with knowledge. You're in love with the explanation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not like, I am a lover of knowledge, because knowledge never stops. Mm-hmm. You're a lover of that fucking explanation because it allowed you to stop seeking knowledge.
It works.
Do you know what I mean? So you go, here's my philosophy. Done.
Yeah.
Now, when situations pop up, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to stress about it. I can just, what do you do in this situation? Let me refer to the manual.
Yeah.
Someone of my caliber does these things in this situation. And then they can not have that responsibility. In my opinion, when somebody takes a philosophy, school of thought, and treats it like that, it becomes religious. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what happens. Like Taoism is a great example. There is no deity. There's literally no dogma. Like, that's the dogma of no dogma, if you want to get all fucking retarded about it. So it's like, that's the point. Like, Taoism is fucking awesome. When it was an explicative philosophy, But now there's, people wear this robe on this day. This is the Taoist holiday. How the fuck is there a Taoist holiday? Like, there is no thing.
Right.
There is, like, there's a fucking... somewhere in China, somebody's going to get off work because there's a Taoist holiday. Somebody gets a fucking tax break because they're Taoist. Like, what?
That makes no sense.
Do you know what I mean? Lao Tzu would shit himself and throw it at somebody. It's like, it's ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's nonsense. But it becomes a religion when people stop looking at it like a school. It's literally a school of thought. It's not that. Because you're not thinking anymore. You're just accepting something.
Right. Mm-hmm. What were you getting at earlier?
I don't know. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Oh, see, now it's my fault.
My depth just squashed.
It's almost like the second an idea is put out there, it's created. The creative process occurs. A thought is created. It's conveyed to a third party or even a second party. And at the moment a second perception of it occurs, it's gone. It's been created as something else. Or not.
Well, yeah, that one's tough because it's like, I think it's a little bit. I'm stumbling all over my words because I'm forming this thought in my head as I'm talking.
That's okay.
It's like this. There's like if you make a copy of something. Every copy is somewhat degraded, right? Every copy is somewhat degraded. But if you imagine you make a formula, like a math formula or a recipe or something, and you make a copy of that recipe. That copy you made is degraded. And if everybody keeps making a copy of that fucking thing, at some point it's going to be like that game when you were a kid in fucking kindergarten and you whisper in the ear and it changes by the time it comes out. If everybody just keeps making copies of that thing, then what you're saying is true. Every time somebody makes a copy of it, it gets degraded until eventually it doesn't even fucking resemble the same thing. If that person takes that recipe and learns it and understands it, it's like every time... When you teach a kid a math equation, you've solved the math equation, you've solved the math. The teacher solved the math equation. That kid solves it for the first time. That kid did discover it. That kid did solve it. Like, It's been solved a million times, whatever. But that kid goes, holy shit, I got it, and discovers it and comes to the same answer that you came to because he followed the same equation. Yep. So if all somebody does is take that equation or that recipe and just make carbon copies of it over and over and over again, it degrades. And so what you're saying is correct. The minute you give it to someone else and they take it and just make a copy and they don't think about it, do you know what I mean? Like they just spout off the blip, 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 blip. Then it becomes degraded like the telephone game. If that person takes that information, uses the formula that you gave, not necessarily the answer, understands the process by which you came to the answer and discovers their answers for themselves using that equation, they're going to come to the exact same conclusion that you came to, and it'll be pure.
And then they've created science. But
that's what happens. That's what was supposed to happen with philosophy and with religion and with everything else. Because you're supposed to give someone the method by which they come to that realization themselves,
right?
Not, let me just give you this answer. It's like doing homework. You do homework. You're doing the same fucking math problem everybody else is doing. You're doing the same math problem people have done for fucking thousands of years, but you're supposed to discover it on your own and thereby get this understanding of math. People that just cheat, just give me the fucking answers, man. Just look in the back of the book. Give me the answers. Write it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they can do it. They can get by. They can regurgitate it, but it's like they don't have this.
Right.
You know, they don't have this brain of a mathematician because they didn't go through the process because they don't fucking care, you know?
So how does this concept that you're talking about tie into Jiu Jitsu and how you teach it?
I don't know.
Really?
No fucking idea.
No, I think you do, though, because what you're doing is you're a teacher and you are creating these techniques that you've created a curriculum, an actual curriculum, which is much like that math book. This plus this equals this, you know, an arm here, an arm there, a leg there, and equals armbar.
The idea, I mean, I said it to a guy I was teaching today, and it's the theory, the concept is way more important than the technique. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I suppose that when I teach, it's the same thing. Like, I don't want to give people a bunch of techniques that they can just go regurgitate, and it'll get them by, dude. Like, they'll win fights. They'll make self-improvements, but they're not going to understand. They're not going to get what I'm trying to give them. Like, the people that really understand the theory behind the techniques and the purposes and the reasons, their jiu-jitsu is going to look the same as everybody else's, but their understanding of it will be better. Yeah. You know? And they'll come ideally to the same conclusion. Like,
it's funny you brought that up, because what I've noticed from teaching, because for people that don't know, Jay is my teacher. Technically we have another professor on. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so he doesn't use that term, but
fucking drives me nuts.
Okay, but technically he's a professor. So
I mean, God love him, dude. You know what I mean? Holy shit. You know, like if Seneca, my instructor, wants me to call him Grand Poobah, I'll do it. He's a fucking cool dude. You know, Amal gave me literally my entire life because he gave me jiu-jitsu. So it's like,
concepts.
I'll call him whatever the fuck he wants me to call him, dude. It's cool. Like, you know, he earned that right. So awesome, badass. But fucking professor.
Yeah. So anyway,
professor, dude.
Well, let's not go down this road.
It's like, holy shit. I mean,
I know what you mean. Yeah, but
it kills me that they've done this to jiu-jitsu. It kills me.
They're just
I guess what I mean? So. Like, it kills me because it's like it can't just be pure anymore. Like, it can't just be what it is. Like, it's got to.
Well, there's no real term for it, though. It's kind of new in a way. I mean, it's not new. Jiu-jitsu itself is not new, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is new to the mainstream. So there's no sensei. There's no.
Well, that's what they've
done. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't. When I was learning jiu-jitsu, one of the reasons I thought it was so cool was because this dude's name was Amal.
Right.
Like, it was his name. And I literally am like, well, what am I supposed to call you? And he's like, how about you call me Amal? It's my name.
It's an egalitarian science.
But I mean, I totally respected him as my teacher, and everybody in the room respected him as our teacher. We didn't treat him substandard because he told us his first name, like, you know what I mean? But then what happens is when everybody gets into when you get into like mass,
it's money.
People, it's not even the money. It's like, honestly, my school gets treated more poorly than a fucking karate school because I don't manufacture that vibe, that feeling.
Right.
You go to a fucking Aikido school. Aikido, no offense to fucking people that do it, but Aikido is just complete and utter bullshit.
No offense.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, let me clarify that from a self-defense perspective.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's super valuable in the fact that it takes a ton of discipline to learn it as an art form.
It's an art.
It takes a ton of it's as beneficial as yoga, and yoga is nearly religious for people. You know what I mean? Like it's super beneficial. It's going to teach you coordination and self-discipline. It's going to create a community of people that are trying to improve themselves. It's fucking awesome. It's got shit to do with fighting. It's got nothing to do with fighting. It has long since lost any correlation to any sort of survival tactic whatsoever. You've deluded yourself if you think you're going to use Aikido techniques as they're done now. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not. It's just silliness. It's just. But that doesn't decrease its value in the world. It just decreases its value in self-defense. Right. Use this for self-defense. Right. But my point is, dude, there's like, you go into an Aikido school, you're not going to find a fucking Band-Aid on the floor.
A bloody one at that.
You're not going to find a Band-Aid on the floor. And it's not because they don't train. Like, some Aikido guys will fucking train, like, really hard. Like, they fucking do, like, hours of break falls. I can't get people to do break falls for fucking 4 hours. That's 75% of Aikido is fucking doing break falls. And they're totally into it. You know what I mean? Like, there's mat burns, there's fucking, you know, but they're going to clean that place up because it's, you know, hi sensei. And I grew up in fucking Wisconsin. I'm saying hi sensei. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but because it's dude, we wear our fancy outfits.
It's a fraternity.
And the outfits have to be pressed very clean, and you have to walk in this manner. Right. And you say these words that sound foreign and important. You know what I mean? And it's like outsiders don't know all the special words, and so you feel more important because you know all the special words and they don't. Yeah. And it's like, dude, if somebody drops a Band-Aid, they pick it up quick. Aikido students fucking sweep the parking lot just so they can, you know, increase the beauty of the school because it's such an important place for them. It's like their fucking church. And here, because I have this attitude of like, dude, fuck, call me professor. Call me Jay, dude. My name's Jay. Yeah. But I get bloody Band-Aids on the mat. Because you don't pick up. You know what I mean? Like, you don't beautify the space.
I know exactly what you're saying.
At Jay's fight gym.
Right.
You beautify the space at Sensei's dojo.
In fact, the more Band-Aids on the floor, the more badass the place is.
And it's just annoying because it's like, in reality, this place is as life-altering as any fucking church or religion or other martial art. I think more so than almost any martial art because we actually change literal, tangible things. Like, it's not a surrogate activity. It's actually the activity. All the bullshit people do to make themselves feel more esteemed, more strong, all those things, they're surrogate activities to make you feel more capable. Nothing makes you feel more capable than actually being able to make yourself survive. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, the ability to actually fight for your own survival is so important to us as a being, as a primal being. And there's so many places that we like, dude, fucking cars and dick size and Viagra and fucking, you know, whose house is bigger and all that shit. Lifting weights and who's got big muscles and all that bullshit. I got a promotion. My house is bigger than yours. All that bullshit is just trying to find some way to feel capable and safe and strong. So when you actually make somebody feel capable and safe and strong, you change such an essential part of them. It's fucking phenomenal, and you can't do it any other way. You access the edges and things that look and feel similar, but they don't actually take care of the problem. It's like giving somebody cough syrup when they have some disease. Like, it's going to make their cough better, but they're still sick. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it's all of it. So I think this place actually fucking
reshapes the immune system.
I think this place reshapes how people are as a fundamental human being.
Right. No, I agree.
But because I don't make a thing out of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't make a thing out of it, I get fucking dirty underwear in the parking lot. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like
those are Aaron's actually.
It's a fucking gym. It's a gym, yo. Yeah, that dude's name is Jay. Dude's name is Jay.
Dude's name is Jay.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody's gonna go.
That'll be the name of this podcast.
Your priest had some interesting views. You know, I've never met him. Yeah, dude's name is Johnny. Nobody's gonna say that about their priest. Nobody's gonna say that about their Aikido instructor. You know, but because I don't want to manufacture falsity. Yeah. Like, I don't get it. Do you know what I mean? Like, the out of 100 students, the 20 that understand what it really is to them, treat it like that.
It's funny because I've been here for over 10 years now, and there have been people that have come in, and I've rolled with them and, you know, talked with them for hours, numerous hours, and then come to find out they're a doctor or they're a lawyer. And I didn't even know. Sure. Because that doesn't even... You're talking and dealing with somebody on such a human level. I mean, you're literally sweating with them, sometimes bleeding. And I mean, not always.
Welcome to the school, folks.
Right. Yeah. And
try your first week free.
You're testing yourself against them physically, and you're winning and losing. So that none of that matters. It's like, oh, well, you get that armbar, but I'm a doctor. No, that's the most. It's not applicable. It doesn't apply in that situation. So you get these people just talking, sitting around after training down in this corner here, and the locker room area, I guess you would call it, and just talking and laughing about funny stuff or about interesting stuff that occurred or something they learned. Sure. Like, hey, that was cool what you did. And nobody talks about anything else. I don't think most people here don't even know what I do for a day job.
Sure.
I think some of them assume that I actually am a full-time instructor here at the school. They're like, what, you have a day job? Most people don't even know.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing is I think that I don't manufacture it. And so I don't get it quite a lot of times. Like, a lot of people are able to mistake this place for a gym and not for what it really is. Yeah. Because I don't go treat it like what it really is. Like, let's polish the wood. Let's fucking call me sir. You know what I mean? And I don't enforce that. But the cool thing is that means when you see it, it's legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I make people, hey, dude, say yes, sir. Call me Mr. Jack. Say yes, sir. Then when somebody says, when somebody treats you with respect, you're like, are they following the rules or do they really respect me? And now, like the way I run the school, if somebody treats me with actual respect and I can feel it, then I'm like, cool, that person is real. Because there's no reason for them to do that. They could high five me and call me bro if they want to. Do you know what I mean? So like if they actually treat me like I treat my teachers, then I go, oh, cool, that person has that in them. But if I tell them to act that way, if I go, dude, treat me like this, then they'll just manufacture it, and then I'll have no idea like who's actually getting it and who's not.
That's a really good point, because you face that whenever you're in the work environment. You're kind of forced into that role where you have to subordinate yourself to people all the time. Where you're looking at these people, you're like, you've got to be kidding me! Like that, I have to subordinate myself in any way to these people. That's a really good point. I never really associated.
But as far as they're concerned, you respect them.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like in Aikido schools and in karate schools and in churches, people treat the place with a presented sense of reverence, and that feels great. And the dudes that run the place feel awesome. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Because like people come in and they speak in hushed tones and they sweep the floor after they leave, and dudes are like, man, they treat it like it's fucking important, and it makes you feel awesome. But it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Because none of them actually feel it. They're just following. They're just doing the thing. They're just doing the role. They're playing the role, and then they'll not be affected deeply, and they'll bail. Right. It's not like Aikido schools. Yeah, fuck, I'm on Aikido today. It's not like Aikido schools.
Use a different one just in case.
It's not like Aikido. Well, actually, the reason I picked them is because they have such a massive sense of reverence.
Yeah.
More than any other martial art I've ever seen, other than traditional Japanese in Japan. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because in Japan, judo is treated with massive reverence. You know what I mean? So it's like, but in America, like Aikido, those people have the market cornered on reverence. Like those people are like, wow, like it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, shh, don't talk. It's an Aikido school. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But the problem is they have the same dropout rate that we have.
Yeah.
People take it the same way, but they act different because that's what you do. You behave like this when you are in this environment.
If you tie it back into religion and political leaders, you can also see there's a false sense of reverence there too. It's like it's what we're expected to do. It's what other people see other people doing.
Yeah, it's falling in place.
There's almost like no real sense of reverence throughout any human interaction anymore.
Sure. Well, that's because you've manufactured it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's no real reverence anymore because it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like when you get high school kids, teenagers get in relationships, and they do all the same shit you do in serious relationships. They give each other flowers, and they fucking do presents, and they, oh man, I love you so much. But it's like they don't even know what they're talking about. Like they don't even understand. Like they're just doing what they see because that's what you're supposed to do. So they do those things. They have anniversaries and all kinds of fucking retarded shit. But it's like it's not even deep. They just do it. You know what I mean? So it's like people in religions and in traditional martial arts and in all kinds of situations, like when you go see a doctor, like all these things, like people have this, they treat people with such a it's so easy to manufacture respect. It's so easy to manufacture love, and none of it is actually truly felt. It's just, man, you know what I mean? I love you. People say that shit so easy. You know, oh, bro, that guy's like my brother. Fuck you, dude. Do you know what I mean? How many people say that guy's my brother and wouldn't get a fucking skin rash to save that guy's life? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just, it's so easy to say, like, all that shit because we just make it up so much. Everything's just so false and surface.
You never have to back it up like you do here. Whereas, for example, if you get an Aikido instructor who's probably the average person, I'm sure would have a difficult time with an Aikido instructor.
Yeah.
Come on, Jay. I'm trying to give some.
Right. But if they ran at him with a little wooden stick overhead from 17 feet away, they'd get fucked up. Do you know what I mean? Oh, like galloping. Yeah. They'd get fucked up.
Jay's doing sound effects now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You've shown us that it's real. We've felt it in I think that's the difference. There's no need to create this generic relationship because it's like, well, that was pretty brutally honest.
Well, I mean, we're getting onto two different subjects though. Like you're talking about the physicality, the physical truth of it.
I've been known to digress, Jay.
Yeah, and I'm talking about like he's on the reverence thing. Like that's the idea.
I'm tying it back up. I'm tying it back in.
To me, it's like I don't have. Like I was saying, like we don't make people manufacture it, so people don't put up the pretense. And there's so much pretense in the rest of their life that when they get in here, it's almost like I get less. It's almost like people treat this place sometimes worse because they have the freedom to not put on a show.
Yeah.
So they can just fucking relax and just I don't have to do all the bullshit. I don't have to like, high sensei and don't even in jiu-jitsu schools. Like nowadays, people don't ask higher belts to roll. Like you're not supposed to. White belts aren't supposed to ask blue belts to train and shit. Like in here, there's none of that.
Yeah, I know.
So I think people like get in here and like, wow, I can just fucking shit on the floor. You know what I mean?
Which we all
like,
have. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like in one respect, it kind of shoots me in the foot because I give people freedom to not manufacture, and I think they take a lot of liberty with that. But then it also lets me see. When you see that reverence come from someone and when you see that like this place has altered my life forever, they're not saying that because that's on the third page of what you're supposed to say every Wednesday. Like they're saying that shit because it fucking really happened for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So even though you create that environment, you'd say there's still a smaller percentage of students that actually truly get the reverence part of it.
Here's the deal. I think there's a higher percentage of people here that actually get it than most places because most places – it's manufactured, so it's never real. Like, I think if there's 100 students in a more traditional kind of forced reverential school, I think out of 100 people, 95 of them act like it, and 3 of them feel it. I think here, if we have 100 people, 20 people act like it, but 20 people feel it. It's like the percentage is actually way higher in truth. But from the outside, there's a lot more people like leaving Band-Aids on the floor. Yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like we have a lot less people asking me, "Hey man, can I take out the garbage? Do you need me to help sweep?" Like at a karate school, at an Aikido school, dude, you can't.
You have to.
You can't. You couldn't see a black belt mopping a mat in an Aikido school unless he was the only dude there.
Right.
So the white belts would be like, "Oh my God, sensei, let me do that for you." But then they don't actually, it's like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like here, maybe only 15, 20 people feel it, but every single one of them feels it deeply. Yeah. Whereas at another place, 95 of them act like it, but only fucking 2 or 3 of them actually get really, truly affected. So I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'd rather have a deeper effect on more people and have an annoying percentage of people like not really get what it really is than have most people act like it. I get to walk around feeling like it. The school gets to look like it. I get to puff my chest out and walk through a room with everybody calling me fucking sensei and picking up after me. Right. But then I don't affect anybody anymore. Right. Like I can't actually get to those people anymore. You know?
Good point.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about what you're working on right now?
The online thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to come out sometime in the near future. I'm working on trying to give kind of what we were talking about, like the idea of jiu-jitsu being important to to understand as a concept and as a thing of depth, and not just this like, here's 4,500 techniques and this is how you do this sweep, you know? Because I think the way that I teach and the way that I explain things and the way that I put things together and hopefully the effect that I have on people is really different from the way other people do it. The techniques honestly aren't that different. You know what I mean? If you look at like 10 different people that teach arm bars, like there's always some little differences, little grips are different, little hip movements are different, but realistically that's not the difference. The difference is in how I teach and how I can get people to see techniques and see understandings of things, and hopefully also how you affect somebody on a deeper level other than just martial arts. Like other than just like, I can now do an arm bar. That's cool that you can now do an arm bar, but like, does it affect who you are as a person? Not just like, can you do an arm bar now? Big deal. You know? So like, I think that the way I called it a project. Like the name of the website is Online BJJ Project, you know?
That's cool.
But because the idea is I want to know, it's like I have this idea that I think I can kind of not save jiu-jitsu. Like, I mean, it's not just jiu-jitsu that's dying. Like, every fucking thing is getting ruined, you know what I mean? People suck. But it's like jiu-jitsu is going down the same path that every other martial art has gone down. It gets changed, it gets diluted, it gets copies made of it that just get a little different, and a little different. The jiu-jitsu that I was taught 10 years ago, 20 years, 15 years ago, is completely different. And in some ways, jiu-jitsu's evolved in ways that are phenomenal and awesome and amazing. But the problem is, like, mutations aren't always good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's changed, and there's ways that are awesome, but there's a lot of ways that are shitty, you know? And I think that I have a way to explain it, and I have a way to transmit those ideas in a way that I think will make not a clear copy, but will make a formula so somebody can come to those realizations and actually keep it that way. So if I can make a line of people that are teaching other people how to have their own understanding of it, then those moments will be pure, and it won't be a bunch of people making copies and then get diluted. It'll be like people understanding the concepts and the nature of it, you know?
Yeah, I think this is what I was trying to bring up earlier. It's the way you teach is incredibly concept based, which makes people understand it. Yep. Instead of people just saying the hand goes 3 inches above the hip, my head should be at you break it down.
Sure.
The scripts that you have, break it down to that point, but then you build on top of that and say, well, I'm going to tell you why your hand has to be on the hip as opposed to here.
Yep.
And you make it very clear on why that is, because you're instilling the concept. You say, look, hand down here means you get beat up, right? Hand right here means you're in a better position. So that's all you want to do. And that's the way, in the beginning when I first started teaching, I made sure everything was right on the money. I used the script. I said, okay, make sure your hand is here. And now that I've been teaching, what we were talking about is a few weeks ago is where you were showing, I think you were showing Durfee a technique from side clinch. And you said, well, you can use 2 hands on the hips. I'm like, that's interesting because I used to only teach 1 hand on the hip, but as of basically a few months ago, I've said, look, I'll put 2 hands together on the hip in the side clinch if I don't need to defend this. Sure. And I'm sure people are listening. What are you talking about? What I'm getting at is Jay instilled in me the same concept. I came out to the same outcome as what Jay already knew, just from deriving it from that same concept, because I've been able to actually teach the concepts now instead of just off the script. Yeah. And that's, even though I understood them before.
Well, you'd never understand it as deeply as when you discover it for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why if you raise a kid right, you don't just tell them how everything is. You give them the puzzle and you let them come up with the solution, even though you know what the solution is. That's not the point. The point isn't that they have the information. The point is that they have the ability to discover things.
We know what the puppies in a basket looks like.
You know, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
You said a puzzle. You know, you do puzzles. on the front of the puzzles, puppies in a basket. Why are you putting that together? You know, the same picture is right on the cover. Why don't you just
I'm just thrown off by the puppies in a basket.
The idea is the
Who
process.
puts puppies in a fucking basket?
The idea is the process that you were creating.
He's working it. He's trying. Let him go, dude. Let him have it.
Aaron.
No, go ahead. Puppies
but
in a basket.
You know what I'm saying
makes
is
sense.
when you buy a puzzle,
sure,
right? A photo puzzle. you know what the puzzle looks like. In fact, the puzzle is already there on the cover.
Sure.
But it's in a bunch of pieces. Why do people bother putting that puzzle together? Because it's the process.
Yeah, to figure out how to do it,
Exactly.
But that's the thing. So I think the idea of the way that I teach is very, very different. And so I think it's valuable. I want to get it out there because I want people – I don't feel like there's access to it. There's a ton of amazing jiu-jitsu. Do you know what I mean? There's a ton. And there's a ton of online websites. I mean, Dracolino's a friend of mine. He's got an amazing website with multiple camera angles, and it's super badass. You know, Marcelo Garcia's got a kick-ass website. The Gracie University, kick-ass, man. All of them are awesome. All of them are awesome. But I think the way that I put material together is different enough that it warrants looking at. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's different enough that I think it has an impact on people that even though other teachers are phenomenal teachers, I think I'm getting something out of people that other people aren't getting.
Yeah, I think
that's what I want to make sure. I don't just sit here in Maine in a small school and have only the people that are unfortunate enough to live in this fucking state like get that benefit. You know what I mean? Like, I want people, like, I know dudes that don't live here anymore that don't have access anymore, and that's super sad for them. Everybody that moves away comes here nearly in tears going, this is the thing that's killing me the most, that I'm not going to have access to this place.
I can't find any other place like it. They all say the same thing. I can't find any other place like it.
And that's for them, you know, and it's for the people that are stuck out in the middle of nowhere. Not even like there's people that have access to good schools that could check out the website and I think get something valuable from it. But there's people in the middle of nowhere that literally there's just no fucking jiu-jitsu. There's nothing like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even in places where there's a ton of jiu-jitsu, I still don't think there's anything like what we're doing. But there's some kid in Ohio in a fucking garage, and the nearest jiu-jitsu school, whether it's good or not, is fucking 75 miles away.
And it costs $300 a month.
Do you know what I mean? And he's stuck, dude. He's got no access. So it's like, if that kid can get the material, and I think that's one of my strengths is I think we offer something a little unique and different, but I also think my ability, I don't know that there's that many people that are actually creating good students literally online. Like most websites, I think, I don't have statistics for this, but I think most websites are current jiu-jitsu students.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if like, I know probably fucking 50 people in this gym have memberships to Marcelo's website.
Really?
So I'm sure. I do. Holy shit.
You do?
Of course I do. The dude's good. Yeah. You know, why would I not have access to this guy? You know what I mean? Like, he's amazing. Yeah. Of course I do. Yeah, I got all of his fucking DVDs. He's awesome. He's a great source of information. Of course I check it out.
He absolutely is.
But that's the thing is, like, I think everybody, not everybody, I think a lot of people on his website, I think most jiu-jitsu websites are supplemental uses of recreational type of information for current students. There's a dude that he's got a great jiu-jitsu teacher. He's already got a good jiu-jitsu game, but Marcelo does a couple moves that his teacher doesn't really do. So he looks at Marcelo's stuff and he gets moves that, you know, is cool. Right. And he gets a lot of cool moves. But I'm pretty confident that I could take somebody
in Ohio.
If I could take some fucking kid in the middle of nowhere in a garage with one buddy and have them literally train 3 days a week, following the website, just lay out the blueprint. Step one, what do I do? Do this. Keep going. And in however long, I'm going to have to see how this plays out in a couple of years, but I bet I could get somebody to the point where after they're at the level of getting a blue belt, and I could bring them to my school in front of jiu-jitsu people that don't know us and go pick the guy that literally has never stepped foot in a jiu-jitsu school and did everything he did through online training. And I mean, I'm not stupid enough to say that I could get somebody at 100% because you can't. It's impossible. Yeah. It's impossible. But I think my feeling is that since most people know it's impossible to get to 100%, they're satisfied with 80.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm betting that I can get 95. You know what I mean? I'm betting I can get somebody following that system. If they just shut up and do what the hell I say, if they will just follow the system, I feel like it's laid out in a way and put together in a way that they'll get closer than they'll get through any other means.
Yeah,
that's my bet. That's my bet.
I think it will work too because so much of what jiu-jitsu is, it's a creative process. You're given things and you're saying, oh, put this together. Assemble this in your own way. And what you've done over time is you've found very creative ways to put things together. You help people see the link to make things work together. And even some of the moves that you do, which are brutally effective, I would never even think of. And I'm like, how did you see that from there? And it's because you have a very creative jiu-jitsu mind. And I don't know what people are screaming for. We're actually in the gym right now.
Who's whooping outside? Why is there whooping? Ain't no whooping in Aikido school.
Occasionally they whoop. Maybe they just threw a Band-Aid on the ground. Who knows? Maybe they stepped on one.
Celebration.
But it's that we talk a lot about creativity. We really think that creativity is the way to create greater freedom in your lives. And what you've done is you've used your creative mind to develop a system that instills concepts as well as technical points, and people get it very well. And I've said this before. I've taken seminars and I've been through a number. I've been doing martial arts since I was 9. Karate, Taekwondo. I did kickboxing. I did traditional jiu-jitsu, and then I came here, and I've taken seminars all over, and I have not found someone that can connect the concepts together as well as you. And I'm seeing what you're doing with this website, and it's really working because you're actually able to take what you're doing in the classes and you're showing it, and you put things together, and people get the entire concept from start to finish. And I haven't seen that anywhere else, and it's using that creativity.
When will this be available, Jay? Any thoughts?
You weren't supposed to ask that question.
No, probably. My goal would be within a month. You know what I mean? And the problem is it's definitely a passion sort of thing. Like I'm not, like I'm doing it on my own. Like it's not like I got an investor and had some computer whiz build a website. Like I'm doing everything myself. Like I'm trying to learn. I enjoy learning things, So like I had to learn how to do all the coding, and I had to learn how to do all the stuff, So it's like, it took a long time to figure out how to lay it out like I wanted to, because it's also like very particular about what pieces come first and, where like the flow of how somebody should go. Because the problem is they can just do anything. Like online, there's just so much information. Yeah. Like the rabbit hole is so deep that you can just get lost.
You're going to skip right to the flying armbar.
Yeah. So it's really important to have it laid out in a way that encourages them to follow the path, But yeah, I mean, I just got to get a little bit more, the website's all set up. Everything's legit. I already have, a small group of people that are using it, guys that know me. Like I don't open it to the public yet because there's still some links that are like not live. There's some stuff that like techniques that you should be able to click on and play a video. They're not playable yet, so I've still got to backlog the library of techniques. There's a ton on there already. There's enough on there that I think most people, I think it's probably beneficial for the general public at this point, but I know how judgmental people are. Dudes that know me are finding a ton of value. Dudes that know jiu-jitsu already are finding a ton of value. Like I've got a group of people that are already using the website kind of as a beta group, but I don't want the kid that doesn't know enough to know what he's found. Mm-hmm. Right. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, dude, the truth is there's going to be some kid in a fucking garage somewhere surfing the web, and he's going to see 14,000 different websites, and he's not going to know what he saw. He's not going to get it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, like, I got to kill some of the barriers to, like, if he starts clicking around, if that kid catches 2 clicks that don't play a video, he's never coming back. Yeah. And the next time he sees somebody go, oh my God, I found this life-altering website, he's going to go, I don't know, man, I went to it. Shit didn't work. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just too easy to change channels nowadays. Yeah. So it's like, I before I make it public, I literally want there to be 0 bugs and everything perfect, because I don't want some kid to miss it. Like, I mean, holy shit. Can you imagine? Do you know what I mean? Can you imagine if you weren't, not to sound like some fucking awesome guy, but can you imagine if I weren't here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, can you imagine your life? Like, if you hadn't have found this place?
Yeah.
Like, not to sound stupid, but it's like, there's some life-altering change.
I wouldn't be doing it.
But what I'm saying is, like, imagine if you had never found this place, if you could have access to that website.
No, I've told you this before.
But then imagine, like, clicking on it once and, like, there being a thing that makes you go, this is stupid. And then you miss it. You miss it.
Yeah.
Right.
Imagine if you'd have driven past this school and not come in and just been like, whatever. Like, but I don't want that to happen to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, hopefully it's a month or so away. Like, I definitely want to have it done before the beginning of the year. Like, if it's not up before the beginning of the year, then I'm going to fucking stab somebody.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
I don't know what that has to do with the website at all, but you know what I mean?
It's got to be relevant.
It's got to be relevant. All the people around me will encourage me to work on it now.
We're approaching an hour, so we don't, Jay's got classes to teach.
Yeah. Should wrap it up.
Yeah.
So do I, but
what a fizzled out end to this.
No, we don't. It didn't fizzle out. I think it.
Well, I guess we've been doing it for a while, and
so wait, what are we talking about again? Just kidding.
Sucks. Aaron hasn't brought
real
up
quick
yet.
I know he hasn't said anything.
Just listening.
Just listening.
It's my role here today.
He won't listen to it when we put it up, so you might as well. Do you see Jiu Jitsu as a philosophy?
Yeah, I mean philosophy is a love of knowledge, and jiu-jitsu was discovered because somebody bothered to fucking think about it because they were really concerned about it. I think jiu-jitsu, in theory, could be the way I look at it is, it's not like it's a religion or whatever, but it's to me, jiu-jitsu is the outgrowth of kind of a lifestyle or a philosophy, if you would, because the things that make me, the reason that I teach well in jiu-jitsu is because I see that truths are similar everywhere. Like the concepts that make the armbar work are also the concepts that make this other move work and this other move work. And if you understand, like, the truth is the truth regardless of what venue you find it in. You know what I mean? Like, so physics work when you're talking about auto racing, when you're talking about gymnastics, when you're talking about jiu-jitsu, that shit's the same. Like, if it's not true in every realm, then it's not actually a truth. It's just some shit. You know what I mean? It's a coincidence or something, So to me, the concepts that lead to good jiu-jitsu also lead to a good life. They lead to good mental health. They lead to good relationships, Like, it's the same shit. It's just it's the manifestation of a good love of knowledge and a good seeking of the truth. It's the manifestation of that. It's the fighting manifestation of that. Yeah. Like, I have a good relationship because I apply the same principles to the way that I handle my spouse. I have good friendships because I apply the same principles to the way I handle that. Like, weightlifting to me is the same. It's the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, not to get too Taoist on you, but it's literally all exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I lift weights, like I do jiu-jitsu, like I ride a bike, like I run. Do you know what I mean? It's all the same shit.
Yeah, it certainly changed my mind when I got into it. Before I got into it, like I said, it was over 10 years ago, I had this idea that, some people are just really good at things and some people are just really bad at things. And obviously there's a sliding scale of potential, but I always used to see myself as just the mediocre person. I was kind of, I'm half decent. And I would watch other people and be like, wow, I wish I could do that. And then this was the first thing that I actually stuck through with and actually just did it for the pure enjoyment of it. Yeah. And before I knew it, without even knowing, there were people coming up to me going, wow, how did you do that? That was really cool. And I was just like, well, what are you talking about? That's just the technique. It's not. And then I realized, there actually is something to being comfortable with developing a concept, seeing a technique, and then just exploring it, just going with it and doing it over and over again. Not because you say, if I do 10,000, I'll be perfect. Just because you just want to get better, and in the process, you enjoy it. And before you know it, you got people coming up to you and looking at you the same way that you looked at people prior to them. And that's what I think, that's one of the huge benefits. It shows you that if there is a way, there is a technique to living a skillful life. Jiu-jitsu is about navigating a situation in a skillful manner. You can use that same navigation through any part of life. There are times when you're down, someone's on your back, beginning to choke you, and you feel completely, I should just give up. But then you go, wait a minute. I know if I just hang on, do this, do that, I think I'll be all right. And you just develop that, and before you know it, you're in a better position. And I think, like you said, it's in all things, and you can actually transfer that. You can transfer that drive and that technique and that belief in the system, and it works.
I think that's the thing that makes it more than just like kind of a gym thing. You know what I mean? Because like a lot of people come in and they get the effect that everybody's going to get from a gym. They lose weight, they get more athletic, they get more fit, whatever. You know, maybe they learn a little self-defense, maybe they can fight a little bit, whatever. But I think the people that realize, like, I think the people that see it as a methodology across the board, I think the people that, you know, Paul's a great example. You know what I mean? Like, this guy learned about how to teach, not from me as a teacher. Like, his jiu-jitsu helped him learn how to understand and communicate and not be stuck on ideas. And do you know what I mean? Like, he's a different person, and he's learned about lifting weights, and he's learned about working out. There's all these different things, but it's like,
and he's an incredible, humble person.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, if somebody looked at it on the surface, they would go, "Wow, you learned a bunch of stuff from that school. You learned how to lift weights. You learned how to, do barefoot running technique. You learned about, jiu-jitsu and judo and Thai boxing and different. You know what I mean? You learned how to teach. But realistically, he didn't learn 25 different things. He learned one thing.
Right.
He's just applying it in a way that's very,
universal,
deep and universal to his life.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. The people that get that are the ones that are like, whoa, I just discovered something. You know what I mean? The people that don't get that are like, what an awesome gym. And it's an awesome gym. But it's like, you know what I mean? The people that really get that part of it are the people whose life it alters.
And it comes back around to the idea of these generic lives that a lot of people are beginning to live, where there's nothing means anything. So when we're not put in these situations naturally, sometimes we have to find places that help us see that side of ourselves again, that primal side where we get our ego smashed. We feel weak, then we feel powerful. And that's, if you can find anything, even if it's not jiu-jitsu, if you can find something that puts your ego on the line on a regular basis, tests you physically, mentally, and makes you...
The worst jiu-jitsu in the world is still better than most things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's the worst filet mignon I've ever had. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, sure, there's different degrees, and I think what we have is some life-altering, amazing shit. But, dude, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody had the choice of training with another jiu-jitsu instructor, not me, or not training, I would buy them a membership. You know what I mean? Like, there's no question.
Yeah.
There's no question. Like, if you have access to jiu-jitsu, Jesus, you got to do it. I mean, it's like,
if you're working,
it's not even like, self-defense, fitness. Like, it is those things for sure. But dude, it's like, it changes who you are as a human. You know what I mean? It's life altering.
Absolutely. If you're working a 9-to-5 job and your best thing that you have to look forward to is to going out to the bars on a Friday and Saturday night and do the same thing over and over again, you're missing something. I'm telling you are. I mean, I've been in that situation. Finding an access to something, whether it's some sort of climbing, hiking, jiu-jitsu, whatever you're doing, you need an outlet for that. And if you don't have that, you're not going to learn. You're going to get lost. You don't even know what you're missing. And next thing you know, you're kind of depressed, and you're like, well, most people my age are overweight, depressed, and pretty much doing the same thing. So I don't even see the difference. So I'm telling you, find something like that, and obviously we'll let you know as soon as Jay's project is complete.
I mean, if you're in the area, I mean, I would recommend you finding any jiu-jitsu school, any wherever you are. It doesn't matter. If it's me or somebody else, I really don't even care. Like, you got to find something. But jiu-jitsu is amazing. So, like, if you're find a jiu-jitsu school. And if you're near us, man, obviously come here because I think it's awesome. But,
I second that.
You know what I mean? And I'll plug it, theacademymaine.com. If you're in Maine, it's an awesome place to go. And keep your eye on this. You guys can put it in the notes or whatever. Like, I'm sure we'll make an announcement on this once that thing goes public. Mm-hmm. But, pay attention and keep out for the online project, because that, I think, is going to be – that's going to be my – my Rosetta Stone. That's going to be my, after I finish that, I can, I can go out and hail the bullets because I know like the message will be there and it'll be solid, and then it won't matter. Like I will have left it and go, okay, there it is. Yeah. That's everything I can do. Here's the thing. Like this is not to sound like I'm proselytizing too much, but like that, there it is. There's the truth. I put it out there, and anybody can get to it. If anybody can get to it, so that's my contribution. Like once I get done with that, I'll be satisfied.
Nice. We'll be happy to help you promote it. And so I guess we just want to say thanks for coming on today. Appreciate the insight.
We're going to do a bit of an intro like we usually do, kind of put out all the information. So
cool.
All right, Jay. Thanks again.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Take my little pink blanket off.
Yeah, he's sitting here in a pink blanket. Because it was funny because he was talking about the blankie in the beginning. He's actually in a blankie.
I am in a little.
Not a metaphorical one.
Not a metaphorical. An actual pink velour blanket.
That looks nice.
But the thing is, like I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like I could skip through the old port wearing this thing and nobody's going to say a fucking word. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the point of being a secure person who can rip somebody's fucking legs off.
Right.
Like I can wear pink. I can wear a pink fucking blanket if I want to.
Dude.
You see,
it's all worth it just for that.
Aaron,
right?
You know what, Aaron? You can wear one too.
You can wear one. You just might catch a beating. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe that's what it was. All right, let's end this now before it